Well, I feel like every stage of my life, I always had this goal that I was reaching towards. And I think when I was going through university, and I went to university mainly to make my parents proud, because I know that was very important for them, for me to get an education, because both of them didn't. And by the way, when I say parents, I know I'm saying with an S now. My dad came into my life when I was about 8. By the way, he moved us out of Chinatown. When going through university, my biggest goal was like, I'm going to climb up that corporate ladder, become a CEO one day. That was like my dream. And so when I got the opportunity to work with the 2 Fortune 500 companies, the first one was Accenture. The second one was Johnson & Johnson. I felt I was teed up for that next stage of my career. But to be honest with you, like going into that corporate world really gave me an idea that wasn't for me. You know, the whole 9 to 5 job. I didn't like someone controlling my income. I wanted to be in control of my own time, my own income. Like the harder I work, the more I make, the less I work, the less I make. So I remember this conversation I had with the CEO of a division of of Johnson & Johnson. I don't want to say the company, but we had a lunch, and he was saying to me, he's like, Denise, and I was sharing with him like, what I wanted to do, and I wasn't sure if the corporate world's right. He said, Denise, why don't you try real estate? And I'm like, me? Real estate? I was 24 at the time. And I'm like, who's going to trust this 24-year-old with their 7-figure homes here, especially here in Vancouver? And I think the turning point for me was there was an opportunity to enter this contest to win a trip. Whoever sold the most newspaper advertisement, it was one of those coffee mates. I don't know if you've ever seen them before, those coffee mates. And then they leave them on the coffee table at like JJ Bean or whatnot, and there would be advertisements on the side. So whoever sold the most advertisement would win a trip somewhere in the world. So me and her entered. There were 20 teams of 2, and we decided to target realtors, because realtors, they advertise a lot. And so we booked about 5 appointments the next day, and we're all ready to go. We're like, we're gonna win this. And then she calls me at like 4 or 5 in the morning, like really like in the wee hours. She's like, Denise, I'm so sorry. I've been arguing with my boyfriend all night. I can't make it. So she pretty much leaves me hanging. And I'm just like, okay, well, call the owner of the company. He's like, Denise, I believe in you. You can do it. And I think that's all I really needed to hear, is that I believe in you. You can do it. And so I literally, long story short, just ended up winning the contest on my own. So that basically instilled the belief in me that I could sell, that I could do it on my own, and that was a blessing in disguise, that she left me hanging, because if that had not happened, I wouldn't have not developed that courage, that confidence in myself to be able to. So pretty much after that, winning that contest, I got my real estate license, and here I am 13 years later.
How were you able to sell so many ads and win the contest?
Well,
was it your personality just smiling?
You know what? I think I've always had a natural salesmanship to me. I think this all started I even remember in high school. I worked at La Senza, which was Victoria's Secret bought. I basically started as a retail, and then I became a manager of a store. And I remember when I was working there, you would sell these VIP cards, and you would get like $1 for each one you sold. And I was always a number one, like, sales of those VIP cards. And I remember and I would always get, so many bonuses and everything like that. And I remember the girls, they would be like, Denise, I would say the same exact lines you say, or the same pitch that you say, but it doesn't work. And I don't know, whatever reason. So I think it's always just been a natural tendency of mine, like just to be a natural sales.
No, it's not luck. But what do you think it is? No, honestly. Do you think it's your looks? Is it how much you smile? Do you feel that you are more empathetic?
You know what? That's a good question.
Or is it because you open up? I have the feeling, when I met you, I had the feeling that you were open. You put your guard down and, hey, I am presenting myself to you as I truly am. And that's maybe what people perceive.
You know what? You're right. I think that a lot of the times, like for me, I'm just genuine, right? Like I'm just authentic, and I try to be who I am. It's just so easy, much easier that way. And I think at the end of the day, when you come from a place of like, hey, this card actually is beneficial to you. You actually get 10% every time you buy it. I mean, you buy something. And right now, it only costs, instead of $20, it's only $3 or whatever cost it was, because it depends on how much they purchased. The card would be discounted. I would present it in a way that actually is beneficial for them. And I think because I learned that through Licenza, and maybe even like how my natural day-to-day dealings, I've always learned to be like, hey, what's the benefit for you? And it's always coming from probably a place of like empathy and understanding and care of like, is this the right opportunity for you? And I think that's now translated into real estate, and how it translated into selling the ads for other realtors. It's just kind of letting them know, hey, you're a realtor, you need to be out there. This is a perfect opportunity for you to advertise yourself on this, coffee mate newspaper that normally people are just looking at, and they see you. So it's just telling people about the benefits.